I'm Vin.
I'm Sori.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the Filthy Capitalist option. As Sori says, 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and then get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at vinsori@gmail.com and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go on the village, facebook.com/Vin and Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy merch.
Thank God for the bomb. Ozzy Osbourne, let's go.
gosh.
Apparently you and Mojo have some discussion on the side there, Soraya.
About what? About what?
Sent you an email about an idea, apparently.
Did you now? When did you send it? Because I responded to all my emails today.
Thank God for the bomb.
Oh, wait.
It's such a weird
No,
course.
you know what it is? Because he comes through. So I keep forgetting that's who you are. I have you as your actual name, not Mojo. I'm sure that's not what your mother named you. Here comes Mojo. All right.
Like moths to a flame, is man ever gonna change? Time's seen untold aggression and infliction of pain.
Yeah, yikes.
If
Okay.
that's the only thing that's stopping war, then thank God for the bomb. That's an interesting question. Is man ever gonna change? I forgot what the stat was, but since 1776, our country has only been at peace for 8 years, something like that. Some crazy stat.
Word.
It is very interesting how drawn humanity seems to war. It's just a very fascinating.
I don't
thing
know
to me.
that if it's so much being drawn to war or if war is just what happens as a result of our fear and selfishness.
Yeah, but to Steven's point, the proliferation of nuclear weapons in some cases functions as a deterrent to war. So
Yes. Yes.
I'm convinced right now we would be in Ukraine right now if the Russians didn't have nukes. I believe
think
that.
so?
I believe we'd have sent the
You're
conventional-
probably right.
I believe we would have pulled all those folks out of Afghanistan, told them to take a hot chocolate, and then
You're probably
rock
right.
back up there and get to the border of Ukraine. I really
Yeah.
believe that. But it's the fact that Russia has nuclear weapons that makes it so we don't do that.
Yeah.
Which is why we're using the Ukrainians as cannon fodder. If you didn't understand why our government is not doing anything to de-escalate this war, but doing everything they can to escalate the war and continue to have Biden just sent another $2 billion apparently. So because of the bomb, we can't directly go to Russia and do what we would want to do.
Yeah.
So now we're just using the Ukrainians to just bleed out the Russians in this entire conflict. It's unbelievable
Yeah,
to me.
yeah.
It's so unconscionable, all the lives that are being ruined just so that our empire can expand its footprint
I know.
and gain more control. Because, look, believe what you want about this conflict, but I'll tell you, we keep benefiting over and over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
Pipelines, resources, all that jazz.
Yep.
Weakened Russia. And it's insane because I probably should do a Middle America about this, but they literally came out and said, our strategy is to weaken Russia. That was in mainstream media this morning.
Yep.
So, these guys are not even hiding
Yep.
it anymore. But it's such a horrible, horrible eventuality we're in. Dusted says, without question, we'd be fighting Putin without nukes. I'd be learning Ukrainian as we speak and deployed already. Correct.
Yeah.
It's fascinating all the death and destruction that a nuke brings, but in reality, it probably saved more lives because of the principle of deterrence. I'm not sure that we get out of the late 50s, early 60s without some sort of real serious jihad with Russia. And a person could argue that Vietnam, to a degree, was our war with Russia.
Yeah.
But again, the Viet Cong didn't have nukes. If the Viet Cong would have had nukes, we would have never sent our boys over there. So it's a weird,
Yeah, it's really weird.
weird dichotomy about the evils of nuclear proliferation.
Yeah.
But in reality, if we gave nukes to every major country on the planet, then you would almost ensure that there could never be another world war. The problem is that if you give it to a guy who has a kind of suicidal, I don't know if you remember this, but one time the Indians and the Pakistanis were going at it over the
I
Kashmir
feel
Valley.
come on.
Over the Kashmir Valley, and the Indians told the Pakistanis, "Look, we're called the subcontinent. we can afford to lose a couple million people. Like it was like
Yeah, but
getting really, really crazy.
I mean, in Islam, if you die kamikaze style or whatever that is, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's good, and you're getting straight in there.
Shaheed.
So
Yeah.
if they basically sent out a message, you know what I mean, to like all of them, be like, look, do your shahada because
Yeah.
on X and Y Z we're blowing everybody out, blowing up the whole planet.
Yeah.
And we're going straight to Allah. Like, you could that doesn't really work if everybody has it when you have somebody that has you know,
somebody that has
a suicide mission like that.
Somebody that has a mentality of where mutual assured destruction would be
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're right. You're right. which essentially is what the Pakistanis responded to the Indians with.
Really?
Yeah, because they're a majority Muslim country. Mm-hmm. So like we'll be shahad. So, I mean it's a really crazy, terrible kind of situation to be in. For sure. For sure.
But I see what you're saying. You know, if you eliminate those people out of it. But then you never know when somebody, like, it doesn't make sense for somebody to set off one of those. But at the same time, like, people have been crazy before. You know what I mean?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
all it takes is somebody that's part psychotic. Like, maybe they're having an episode.
I mean, listen. I mean, think about this whole Corona situation.
Yeah. I mean, that's getting more peculiar by the minute.
Governments playing around with stuff that they knew could was pathogenic, could do what it's doing, and it's dropped a bunch of bodies all over the planet. And I don't know. I'm just saying, like, shit is unbelievable. Like the amount of power that so few people have to affect the lives of so many people. It's just absolutely insane.
Yeah. And the other thing that's pretty crazy is that people in that position, the way that they will talk about it. Like when what's his face? I can't think of his name. Kind of baby face guy, Rubio maybe? Who's the one that said carpet bomb him?
Oh, Ted Cruz.
Ted Cruz. Like, it was like nothing.
Oh yeah, carpet bombing people.
It was like nothing.
Yeah,
like,
I know.
And we talked in the song before about maybe emotion is what kind of like pulls you back. But, when we have the capabilities of throwing something over there and we don't have to see the results of it, like, a lot more destruction can happen.
Well, I mean, Jimmy talks about this all the time. In the Obama administration, there was a 5-month period where 90% of the drone fatalities were unintended targets, which means that we killed cities at a clip of 9 out of 10 times that we use that technology. So, but Americans, we're some of the most calloused individuals on the planet, man. We'll hear about that shit, and we'll be like, man, that's fucked. And then we'll go to Panera Bread and get ourselves our gourmet sandwich. Like, and look, I'm not saying it to make anybody feel guilty per se. I'm just saying that we are surrounded by so much corruption and death and destruction that it's almost, especially now with the 24-hour news cycle, and then you've got platforms where, they specialize in showing people the worst of, like, you might end up just saying at the end of this, man, thank God for the bomb and hopefully he nukes us all and start over. What were you going to say?
Well, it maybe seems a little oddly placed now because, conversation went a little bit forward. But, like how when, we've been, like you said, bombing Palestinians, you just said we were 9 out of 10 were civvies.
Yep.
Like, that's really sick and really horrible. And, we were seeing it all over the news. We were seeing it all over the place. And I've been seeing footage of that for a very long time. And I will say that once I had Orion, because Orion is a mixed, that now when I see that, I immediately picture Orion.
Yeah.
Where I only have it's very difficult for me to picture myself in that situation. You know what I'm saying? Like,
100%.
But then when all of a sudden, the Ukrainians, we were seeing footage of what was happening over there, and you were seeing, like, white people laid out all over the place. It did make a difference, and I hate that that's the case. Like, I hate that now I'm like, oh my gosh, with the Palestinians now that I have stake in the game. And then I'm like, how many other Americans are like that? Which is probably why so many people reacted with the Ukrainian stuff, was because it was more relatable to them. But I do think that a great disservice has been done to us, that we have divided ourselves up by race, color, or region, rather than recognizing that we're all of the same species.
Right.
And if we realize we're all of the same species, then we don't have to fight over land and resources anymore, because we own the entire planet.
Right.
But I don't know if to me, it seems like let's just throw out there and say, if some alien thing was real, I feel like something like that is what would pull us together. Like, just like we saw on 9/11, like all of a sudden, people are out there with their moods and their attitudes, just 2 weeks ago, some guy, because I wasn't driving fast enough, got out of his car. He's aggressively coming over to me, screaming and hollering at me. That doesn't happen after a 9/11 and we all survive.
Yeah,
all of a sudden,
I don't care how hokey it was. It was awesome being an American, living in America.
During that time, yeah.
After 9/11.
People were so friendly. And when people would say, how are you? It wasn't like that. There's a phrase, how are you? Good, you? Good, and you? You hear it so many times. Good. The good and you gets rolled together so much it almost sounds like a new word.
Yeah.
And nobody means what they say, and nobody asks because they actually want to know. It's just a phrase that they have to say because, this is what we do. You're in the register, whatever. But like when people asked at that point, there was a marked difference. But how are you?
Yeah.
We're holding up. We've been going to this church over here, and there was a lot of talk of religion. There was a lot of talk of people were pulling together, and people seemed to genuinely care for each other. And I remember seeing it like slowly like diving off. As a matter of fact, I don't even think it took really that long. I feel like when it got close to Christmas time, there was the rush and the cutthroatness of people around the holidays. And it was so like, I remember feeling like so kind of depressed about it, because I really wanted people to just keep loving each other from that point forward. And I didn't realize that was going to, die off.
Yeah. Yeah. But I don't know if I want to say that. Even if we had an alien invasion, yeah, that would unite us. But again, it would have to be an occasion of violence.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, Reagan brought that up. He said that about on the floor of the U.S. Senate. Maybe we'd all get along if we had to. But it's like, what does that say about humanity? That, like, when we come up with a scenario that binds us all together,
It has to be violence.
it's aliens acting like humans. It's aliens acting like humans, and then the humans have to come together and act like humans together against the alien.
Okay.
So that once we take out the alien who acts like a human, we could then act like humans against each other again after pieces of stone.
Yeah. Yeah. We have to be united under.
Otherwise known as we're doomed. That's what it's like.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you're right. I think that, being right. And that maybe that's, obviously the message of Jesus is a message of love ultimately, and loving your neighbor. And that's not like we have to bind together to fight the enemy. It's like,
yeah, you got to bind together to fight the enemy. And the enemy is yourself. The enemy is your own sinful nature.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And like, think if everybody, this is the thing, like, this is what I said about Jesus. Like, he's got a philosophy, but it's massively pragmatic, because it's take care of your own problems. Like, for example, if we were just to apply when Jesus says, how can you speak about the peck in your brother's eye when you have a whole plank in your eye?
Or splinter and big log.
And then Jesus says, first take out the plank, then you can help your brother with the splinter. Now, if you put that template on top of the current Russia-Ukraine situation, what's the posture of America?
Yeah, we got to take the log out.
Well, we've invaded a bunch of countries. We're still in there.
Yep.
So here's what we're going to do, Russia. We're going to pull all of our guys back to show you that this is wrong. And then we're going to pull NATO back because Jesus said, let your yes be yes and your no be no. And we told Gorbachev we were not going to expand eastward. Okay. We would literally not have war. But here we are. Here we are. So, I don't know. It's fascinating, fascinating. Mm-hmm. That course was probably the weirdest course I've heard in a while. Because it kind of came like, almost like in the middle of a sentence. Like, thank God for the bombs. Kind of weird.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead. What do you got?
8.7.
Solid 9 there. That solo was badass. He's picking. I don't know if he's curating the solos on purpose, but the solos here have been pretty good. All right, dear listener, we are coming right back for you. We have more music left. Vin out.
Sorry out.
Gone.